Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. It's our Friday edition. You made it. You made it to the weekend, and as such, you are now in the zone. I'm just thinking it's a zone. The weekend's kind of like a zone, right? Like you get to relax, do what you want, and sleep in, all that stuff. So, I don't know. I'm just, it's my zone.
Spitballing it.
I'm just spitballing it. But you're right. Of course, that means, since I just had a conversation, that means I'm not alone here. I am joined by my good friend and co-host and the big toe of the Paranormal Portal and a little technologically challenged tonight, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Yeah.
So what's going on over there, Don?
Oh, this laptop's done.
Don's laptop, ladies and gentlemen, just gave up the ghost right before the show.
Right.
I guess we've exercised it completely.
We've exercised it quite a bit.
It no longer functions. It died just before the show. It's been whining for about a year now, and we knew it was coming, but it actually happened tonight. His laptop just died. So
rest in peace.
Please send all your cards and condolences to aetherarchives@gmail.com. Poor fella. But we'll get him through this, ladies and gentlemen. He's still got his phone, so he can keep an eye on the chat and stuff. And otherwise, it's just business as usual here on the portal. And I've realized I forgot to do something, so I'm going to get that done just quickly here.
Oh, yeah.
If you will indulge me,
ladies
and gentlemen.
I'd love to read something, but...
you don't have your bifocals, do you?
No, yeah.
You actually read on your phone all the time, though, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that much. It's just, I don't know. The older I get, the smaller that screen is.
But like I told you, oh gosh.
All right. Like what?
Like I was telling you earlier, when I was at lunch today, I couldn't see it anyhow. My eyes were closed, and it was laying on the floor. Like...
Yeah, that's right. You kind of took a nap there. That wasn't me.
You received a direct message. Wow. That's TikTok.
Do what you're supposed to do, Don. It's direct messages after all. All right, but we got a lot on the board for you tonight, folks. As always, here in the portal, we've got a bunch of material pulled up to entertain you. But I guess the first place to start is to talk about this brand new sponsor of the Paranormal Portal, and that, of course, is Cryptid Coin.
Cryptid Coin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with it yet, you're going to get familiar with it. Of course, today's show is brought to you by Cryptid Coin, and Cryptid Coin is a brand new cryptocurrency.
Yep.
That's out there, and it's just launching, just taking off. And the beauty of this one is, though, it's not just a name serving an interest. This is actually geared towards benefiting the cryptozoological research around the world. And by that, I mean that they are going to be giving out grants to research teams all over the world. So doing it biannually is the plan. And the way they're going to do that is they're going to take a portion of the entire currencies and keep them in trust. And as the coin does its thing, they will be able to fund more and more research projects. And so it's going to directly benefit something that I think is all near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is figuring out what are these things that are out there. And right now, these research efforts are self-funded. They're funded by the people doing them, and
they ain't cheap.
I gotta oil that chair. Jesus, the thing is loud. But yeah, it isn't cheap. It's a labor of love for all of the people that are taking their own time, their own blood, sweat, and tears, and going out there looking for this thing because it means something to them, and of course they want to be a part of bringing it to the rest of the world. And so This is the first company that I'm aware of that is actually stepping up and trying to help perpetuate that goal. And so I think it's wonderful, and it's one of the reasons why I brought him on board as a sponsor of the show. So if you want to learn more about this, you can go to cryptidcoin.io. And it's on your screen for those of you on YouTube, but if you're not, it's Cryptid, CRYPTID, coin, COIN.io. And that will give you the opportunity to learn more about what they're doing and about the investment itself. And, this isn't investment advice, but it's certainly a unique take on the cryptocurrency approach, and that it directly benefits a big part of our community. So I'm really excited about that. And the word has it that they're planning on moving forward with their first grants next month. So if you want to apply for those grants, also head over to cryptidcoin.io and message them about the grant process and how to, submit your team and your effort for a possible grant award. So anyway, lots of great things happening there, folks. Cryptidcoin.io for more information, and a special thank you to Cryptid Coin for helping to bring the Paranormal Portal to you every week. Every time we come online. It's crazy. It's really nice. So, all right, let's move forward. Back to you, Don.
Actually, Jordan Cogburn says something about once a physical coin with a dogman on it. Actually, you can get it. There is a 1 ounce silver coin out there.
Oh.
That has there's one of Bigfoot, Mothman.
Oh, right.
There is a dogman.
They're being specially minted for collectors.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's actually silver. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
There you go.
Yep. You can probably Google stuff like that. You can get whatever you want,
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
no.
Really. You just got to Google it and find somebody out there that's doing it. So anyway, what do you think about some news, Don?
I don't know. Meg says, I saw a comment on a YouTube yesterday. A lady said she saw a dogman on her porch strangling one of her cats.
Whoa.
Well, dogs, cats, makes sense.
I
What
wonder why it would strangle it, though. It's like, I mean, that seems like a very human-like effort rather than, they got all these claws and teeth.
Right. Well, they could just do an Aussie on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, they sure could. Yeah, let's hope not. Of course, I like kitties.
No, you don't get an actual coin, Consquatch. It's a crypto coin.
It's a virtual currency that you're investing in. It works, much in the same ways as Bitcoin, or Ethereum or whatever. There's so many of those out there. So this is another pursuit in that actually benefits our community. So very cool. But let's get to the news. The news. All right, folks, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, joined by my co-anchor, Mr. Don Longbeard.
What he means is like the millstone around his neck.
you know, there's a song, Don, that's like, you're the wind beneath my wings. You are the millstone around my neck. Wow. You are the millstone on my neck.
Thanks.
It's less romantic. I don't think it has the same. Doesn't have the same impact as "Wind Beneath My Wings," but maybe it's in the melody. We'll have to work on that.
Rachel says the Hell 9000 sounds like a good, reliable one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get to the news, and we've got some news for you. The first article tonight, and again, ladies and gentlemen, these news articles are coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. This is a fantastic site, and we rely on it real heavy to bring you these news briefs, because that's the format that this site works in. They take all these huge stories and they encapsulate them in these real brief overviews, and it's wonderful.
Soundbite.
And it's just, I've really become a huge fan of this site, and I hope you guys will support what they're doing over there. Cryptid. They've got Bizarre, they've got Science, they've got all kinds of different categories.
Right.
And so check it out. It's not just all weird and odd stuff. Some of it's really cool, cutting edge science news as well. So It's been a great site. And so again, that's unexplained-mysteries.com. and unexplained-mysteries.com. And the first article tonight is... You okay? Good?
Yeah, I was just thinking about going and getting me some of them coins.
What do you mean specifically, Don? Better go check it out at the library. That's the Portal Mom out there. We love you. I was telling Don about how you always love those figures of speech.
I'm going to go to the library.
All right. So the first one up tonight is computer models predict the collapse of society by 2040.
Are they pretty?
I don't think those kind of models, Don.
Oh,
they're just simulations.
It wasn't very Pacific.
It wasn't Pacific enough, no. Mom right now is cringing and gritting her teeth. Her teeth are slowly being ground to nubs. A prediction from the 1970s has since been corroborated by several independent researchers. Predicting the future is not an easy thing to do, but by careful analyzing what has happened in the past, it's possible to at least take an educated guess at what might happen in the years to come. Back in the 1970s, scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, combined data from multiple sources concerning population, resource usage, and economic factors to calculate the most likely time that modern civilization will experience a full societal collapse.
Oh, within the next 2 years.
Within the next 6 months, maybe. The futuristic at the time date that they came up with was the year 2040. It's actually not that far away.
Kind of odd how fast that's coming on, isn't it?
I know, it's less than 20 years from now, and I tell you what, the last 20 years are like a blink.
Yep.
Oh, while it may seem easy to dismiss their findings out of hand, another study was conducted in 2009 by a completely different team of researchers to determine whether or not the original estimate was still accurate. Worryingly, they concluded that the original findings were almost exactly on course some 35 years later. Yeah, that's pretty concerning. Hope we figure that Mars stuff out pretty quick.
No doubt. We could use a new planet.
Yeah. It is important to recognize that its predictions have not been invalidated and in fact seem quite on target, they wrote. We are not aware of any model made by economists that is as accurate over such a long time span. The results were later corroborated by a third time just last year by Dutch sustainability researcher Gaia Harrington, who found that economic growth would come to a halt by the end of this decade. Not all is lost, however. The key finding of the study is that we still have a choice to align with a scenario that does not end in collapse, she told The Guardian. With innovation in business, along with new developments by governments and civil society continuing to update, the model provides another perspective on the challenges and opportunities we have to create a more sustainable world. You hearing that crackling?
Yeah, I think it's.
Is there a cord?
I'm playing with that power cord.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So there you have it, folks. 2040, but I mean, this could change on a dime if new things were rolled out, whether they're
old things were thrown out,
or they got rid of some of the pork in our world. And I mean, I'm not talking about pig. I'm just talking about this real gluttony that seems to permeate
the pigs in power.
Yeah, that seems to permeate all of our, the businesses, the government. I mean, there's so much. These things are so top heavy,
right.
And they are proceeding with such abandon that, I mean, they're wiping things out.
Right.
There's so many things that are being done agriculturally and in terms of environmental impact that are, not reversible.
Right.
Like burning so many acres per year of the rainforest and things like that. These are very, very important things that, like the rainforests in the Amazon is like the lungs of the world, right?
Right. Yep.
So, yep. I mean, of course, we have other areas that produce a lot of oxygen and stuff. Like even the farm fields throughout the entire Midwest of the U.S. Apparently through that times generate quite a bit of oxygen and get rid of a lot of CO2. But that's only a seasonal crop,
right?
In most cases. So I think there's got to be some work done on that kind of stuff. But it's another thing. And here's the thing: you can't live your life afraid.
Nope. And
it doesn't do you any good to sit, everything sucks. Everything sucks. Well, it's just that we need to make choices and changes. And so, get out there and vote in your elections, vote your heart in your elections. And, I guess just live according to what you want.
You can't live scared now.
No, you got to live your lives. So
regardless of what Rachel says.
And I don't mean to be preachy, but I think this is an important article, that if you think about it, I mean, less than 20 years away could be a collapse of society. That doesn't mean the collapse of life, but it means collapse of society.
Right.
So it is a real top heavy, I don't know, what's amalgamation of bad ideas. So
amalgamation of bad ideas. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it can be corrected, but it just takes some community.
There you go.
All right. So that's the first article tonight. And again, I don't mean to be preachy, but I think, I got to speak from my heart. I got the microphone after all.
Well,
So.
and Rachel says it sounds like it's time to start canning string beans. Well, honestly, if you haven't been doing that yet, you're behind the curve. Not saying, you got to, but I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw a video, I think, of the store shelves in a part of Australia, and it was scary.
Yeah,
it was terrifying. There was like a meat department with like 3 packets of meat on these huge blank shelves.
And nobody wanted that meat for some reason.
Well,
Pink slime, anyone?
I think people would be grilling up shoes if they got hungry enough. So
It used to be a cow.
that was part of it.
Oh,
So I think that if you get hungry enough, anything gets to be food real quick.
True.
But yeah, it's kind of scary that they're not replenishing, at least in those areas. Now those are maybe they're the oddities. Maybe they're that's not the way it is everywhere. I mean, I go to the grocery store. There's plenty of stuff.
Yeah, but there are food deserts. That places that just can't get food. Even in the United States, there are towns. That just can't get food right now.
Oh, okay.
And they can't get anything on their shelves. They can't even get the box, the box side meals and stuff like that. They can't get anything.
Wow.
And I bet part of it's because 50,000 truckers on the Canadian border.
might be having a little impact. But good news, ladies and gentlemen, toilet paper seems to be in ready supply. So
yeah.
You'll always have a clean behind. All right. Here's the next one up on our newscast, and this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. This one's exciting because this is the James Webb Telescope arrives at its destination. And this is a new telescope that's been out there. And it's supposed to be so many more times powerful than the Hubble. And I know that the Hubble, when it started its deal, was just like, oh my God, look at these pictures. And it captured some of the most amazing things out there.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see what this one's going to turn up with, even the possibility of examining some of these exoplanets that are out there that could possibly be in that Goldilocks zone and support life. I guess, if we screw up this one enough, we got to figure out where we're going.
Just don't look up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. All right. All right. So let's read this article. This is talking about the telescope. How long is it? No, it's a good short one. It says the next generation telescope has reached the L2 Lagrange point where it will begin a 6-month commissioning process. It's fair to say that prior to the launch of the James Webb Telescope, which has taken several decades and billions of dollars to design and build, there was a sizable amount of anxiety and trepidation among those who had spent the better part of their lives working on it. Yeah, I'll bet. Those fears soon began to melt away, however, as the telescope soared into the heavens just in time for Christmas. In the weeks since, the James Webb has succeeded in not only reaching its final destination, the L2 Lagrange point, which is 4 times further away than the moon, but also in unfolding itself, each step representing a minor victory and facilitating a collective sigh of relief. Yeah, I bet. It's got to be like origami up there.
Yeah.
What will follow now is a 6-month commissioning process, after which the astronomers will finally get to start putting the telescope through its paces, capturing images of the cosmos unlike any seen before. NASA has picked 13 teams who will be the first to use it to view targets ranging from distant objects far out into space to the planet Jupiter, one of the brightest objects in the night sky, and they, NASA, wanted to get involvement from the astronomy community to see what is feasible, what Webb can do, and really pushing it to the limits, said astronomer Professor Imke de Pater. We came up with the idea to look at the Jovian system because Jupiter is extremely bright, but next to Jupiter, you have these really faint rings and some really faint satellites. So while we'll just need to be patient for a little while longer, once the James Webb Space Telescope does begin operating, the photographs it takes should keep astronomers busy for decades to come. Wow. Picture's worth 1,000 words, but apparently one of these pictures is worth decades of work.
Yeah, no doubt. It's exciting though, because even with the problems, all the great pictures the Hubble scope got us, even with its bad eyes, because they had to replace the lenses within like I think it was the first year. Yeah, because they were just kind of wall-eyed. So they sent the one of the Challenger missions up there, and they literally put contact lenses in it, and that's what they did. They
really?
They put new lenses in it. Yeah. They didn't take out the old ones. They just put new ones in to correct the vision.
Oh, wow.
And so they put contact lenses in. It was amazing. But, and all those, they just pointed it at that one spot in the sky for like 6 months.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, wow, that's just incredible. So with a properly working the first time telescope, would just be awesome,
Yeah, it really would be.
And people really have high hopes for this one, so.
I know, I do. I really do. I'm really excited by what it'll show us and what it'll help us to learn. That stuff to me is very exciting, and I might be an oddity in that way, but I think a lot of you guys out there are the same way. We're all curious about what's next, and maybe this will help us see the impending alien fleets coming. It could be, if some people are right and their armada's heading our way. At least we'll see them coming.
So Maggie says it's so exciting waiting for the James Webb pictures. Somebody made a joke earlier about having great pictures of Bigfoot.
Oh, nice.
My chicken.
Yeah, maybe they should turn it around and just aim it here.
No doubt. What the hell's wrong with those guys?
Excuse me, can you find Sasquatch, please?
There you go.
If they probably, I could probably find a zit on my nose from space. So
Well,
I'm
they've
sure
already got the CIA's already got enough
that's
satellites up there. They know what you look like.
they do.
Naked.
Poor bastard. Oh God.
Poor bastards.
Yeah, those poor bastards. Oh no, those poor CIA people. I'm so sorry. It wasn't my job. I mean, I didn't know. I wasn't given a memo on this. I would have done some more crunches or something to help you out. But
The only crunches I do is when I sit down to eat.
well, those count too, Don.
Sorry.
Food's not going to eat itself. Right?
No, it certainly ain't.
All right, let's go to the next article. We've got 3 minutes left. Let's see if we can get in 3 minutes here. Oh no. Okay. I'm glad you did.
Maggie
I'm
says-
glad you didn't.
Maggie, what?
Never mind. I'm
Oh, I
not going to
didn't
point
touch
it out to
okay.
you.
Maggie says all telescopes searching for intelligent life point away from the Earth. Good point.
Yeah,
So very
amen.
true.
All right. Let's see what's next from unexplained-mysteries.com. The next one up is scientists to reconstruct the face of a female mummy. Or they actually do.
Yeah.
They reconstruct the face of a female mummy. I'm going to put this in the TFR chat just because it is one of those things that has a picture and it's interesting enough to look at. So I'm putting a link in the TFR chat, and I guess she's kind of attractive, right? Nice
Sure.
symmetry.
It's amazing what art can do.
Yeah. Thanks to modern facial reconstruction techniques, it's possible to look upon the face of a woman who died 2,600 years ago.
Wow.
The mummy, a woman named Shep and Isis, who died in Egypt during the 7th century BC, was discovered at the Deir al-Bahari mortuary complex all the way back to 1819. Evidence at the site suggests she belonged to a wealthy family whose tomb she was found in, and was the daughter of a priest who lived in the city of Thebes. Now, thanks to modern CT scanning technology, researchers at the FAPAB, FAPAB, I don't know, Research Center in Sicily and Flinders University in Australia have built up a highly detailed reconstruction of her face based on a detailed analysis of our skeletal structure. FAPAB.
You're going to say it again. Please mention her face one more time.
Layer by layer, the team built up her appearance from the muscles to her skin, even going so far as to add minor cosmetic details such as freckles and individual hairs. The resulting image is like a ghost from the past, the face of a woman from ancient history. The harmonious and well-proportioned skull suggests the Shepanese was probably a beautiful lady during her lifetime, the researchers wrote. Yeah, I mean, cool. That's kind of neat. I guess I don't know why that's surprising though, right? Because we have skulls, and on top of our skulls are faces. So of course these people had faces, and what? Oh, they look like people. Wow!
Wow!
What an amazing development! What the hell were they expecting?
Butterface.
Yeah. I mean, of course she looks like a female. She looks like a woman. Yeah, great. So do a bunch of other people that are still here. They have skulls too. I don't know. It's funny to me. It is interesting to look and see what did this person look like. That's intriguing. But I mean, that could be any million of people around the world.
Break time.
It is, isn't it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the news. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're going to go to break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away. More of the portal coming up in just a couple minutes.
We hope.
We hope.
There are folks that you emulate. There are folks that you
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm still your host, Brent Thomas, and it's still the Paranormal Portal, and we are in half hour number 2 because we just finished half hour number 1.
That's what happens when you. Yeah.
That was funny. Wow. I like that. You had a strong start, though.
Yeah.
You came out of the gate roaring and just.
You know what the irony is I've already forgotten what I was going to say.
Yeah, probably.
It just never made it out of my mouth, so I just totally forgot it.
That's fine. It's better to let it die.
Thanks. Wasn't important anyhow, Don. Shut up.
If it was important, you would have remembered. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's what I always heard growing up.
Here's your electroshock therapy.
Enjoy your new lobotomy.
Gosh, thanks. I certainly like it.
We are going to do some more of the paranormal you've come to love here. And remember, if you want to call in and be a part of the discussion, you can do so by dialing 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. Those are the numbers for fun on the Paranormal Portal. And if you call it, we'll probably answer. Whoa, everything went dark for a second.
Well,
I know.
open your eyes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was.
Stop driving with your eyes closed.
I was just resting. I'm just resting my eyes, Don.
Wow, Sasquatch says, never thought I'd say this, but can you imagine if this chat was in virtual reality and we are all avatars interacting with each other with live audio? That's actually kind of a scary thought.
It's actually, maybe that's the new Paranormal Portal will be in VR. You have to go get an Oculus Quest or something.
We'll have to get into Meta.
Yeah, get into Meta.
Meta.
We could have a Paranormal Portal chat, and your avatars have to be paranormal related.
Does that come with a haptic suit?
I'm not sure. Is that the way you feel everything too? No. Wow.
Can I get an extra sexy, please?
Oh, dear God. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we'll have to screen the avatars. We'll have to have approved avatars because this is a family show after all. So that would be kind of funny though. Yeah, doing this in VR, that'd be wild.
It would be crazy.
I guess it could be done. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We could have a desk and just, you guys could be out.
I know one person I wouldn't talk to if it was in virtual reality.
Okay.
That lady right there in blue. Look what it says right there on your screen.
Oh.
I call the BEK avatar. Screw you.
There it is.
Nope, I ain't never talking to you again, Rachel.
They are all done. All done.
See ya.
Yeah, Don's got a thing for the black-eyed kids, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the show, he does not like that. In fact, that's the topic that probably creeped him out the most.
Well, yeah,
that we covered on the show.
That and Dogmen. Dogmen.
Well, Dogmen, yeah. I guess that one you had a reaction to as well, but mostly the black-eyed kids.
Yeah, black-eyed kids just
that's
me out.
Creepy as hell, and it is a creepy idea. I don't pretend to know much about it other than what we've talked about on the show, just in terms of people's experiences. I think that it's one of those phenomena that's probably chock full of some creative writing, but I think that there are a few legitimate reports. Right. I do, but I tend to think that a lot of them are maybe fabrications. I don't know if I dare say a lot, but I believe I've run into one. And so I guess that's a good segue.
I'm sorry, segue, yes.
A segue to a thought catalog article.
Oh, okay.
We're just about to close this out, but this is the last thing on there. And it's written by an anonymous thought catalog reader who had submitted his story to the article. And the article was 16 people's terrifying encounters with the black-eyed kids. We've gone through most of it already. But there's one last segment on here, and I guess now's the time to check it out, huh, Don?
Okay.
All right. Since we got a natural segue into black-eyed kids, this is a bonus story on the end of the article, and it says, again, via anonymous thought catalog reader. So we're not sure who to credit this with, but again, Thought Catalog is a fun site that has lots of different articles about lots of different topics. So I like it for the paranormal ones because I think they're just really well done.
He only reads the articles.
I only check it out for the articles. I do not unfold the pages.
You can't.
Well, I don't too. So Don, technicalities. Just semantics, Don.
What'd they do? Glue these things together?
It was 1 a.m. This is my encounter with black-eyed kids. It was 1 a.m, and I was a little late on walking my dog Dakota. She's a 3-year-old German Shepherd and very tame for a big dog. Not in my entire time having her have I ever seen her run up to anyone. She gets really nervous around strangers, and I live very close to a large park that leads into a hiking trail. And there's a large area that's used as a baseball field, and the big entrance into the wilderness surrounded by trees and darkness. And here is where I let Dakota off the leash and to follow behind her as she sniffs around, trying to find a spot to do her thing. This night was different, though. As soon as I take her off the leash, she jolts into high speed towards the trail opening. I know many of you are judging me for letting my dog off its leash, and trust me, I know I shouldn't do it, but it's one of those things you just don't tell people you do, like littering or U-turns.
How dare you litter?
Yeah. Plus, this was completely out of character for her, and all I could think was, if she goes in there and doesn't come back out, I don't think I can go in after her. I was not about to get lost in a pitch black darkness on a freezing cold night to get eaten by some mountain lions, and I'd wait for her and probably call my roommate to tell him I'd be taking longer. But she didn't go in. She was about 8 feet from the entrance when I see a tall, dark figure calmly walk out of the darkness. Anyone else would have probably freaked the hell out, but some creep walking out of the woods at this hour? Hell no. But I'm in pretty good shape, 6'5", and if anything, people are usually more scared of me than I am of them. Plus, the random weirdo isn't rare in L.A., even if this is a middle-class, good suburban neighborhood. So I call for Dakota, but she doesn't move. I've never seen a dog literally follow someone with their gaze, never breaking contact. It just didn't make sense. This is where the uneasiness first kicked in, but it wasn't anything serious. It was just really strange. I started jogging towards her when I noticed it's a girl, about 17 to 20 years old. I think we've covered this one before. And around 5'9" tall. From what I could see, she was stunning. Long legs, beautiful body, short dark hair, almost reaching her shoulders in a tousled, sexy kind of way. Her long, messy bangs framing her face as she stopped walking to look at Dakota for a second. Couldn't make out her face really, but I didn't see a death pale girl in a white dress floating like your stereotypical dead girl. I saw a stunning girl in skin-tight dark jeans, boots, a dark leather jacket, and from what I could tell, she had a light complexion, but by no means did she look like a ghost. My first thought was maybe if we talk, I can get her number, but then I remembered this girl had just walked out of the hiking trail in the middle of the night.
Wow.
I start thinking about a documentary about a female serial killers I once saw, but even if she was a crazy person, I still have no idea how she could just walk around up there. In the darkness was so thick, I doubt you could see 1 foot in front of you. Even though there was something really off about all of this, when I saw her stop to look at Dakota again, I lightly said to her, "Don't worry, she's harmless." To which she completely ignores me and continues walking. I think, okay, I didn't expect someone who walks around the woods in the middle of the night to keep a conversation going. I put Dakota's leash on, but she doesn't budge. All she does is take a couple of steps towards the girl and then stops whenever the girl looks back at her. I think she likes you. I say, to which again the girl just looks at Dakota. All of this felt really weird, almost like a dream, like a light feeling, and that silence that sounds almost like as you're underwater. No matter how much I tried to act cool, this was not normal. So here I am, trying to get my paralyzed dog to budge while an intimidating, mysterious girl doesn't break eye contact with her. I was stuck between I'm so embarrassed and she's going to pepper spray me when she takes 1 step towards Dakota and my dog has her tail between her legs and is whimpering like she's seen the devil. And that's when I knew I had to go.
Oh, finally.
If anyone knows when something's up, it's a dog. And as soon as this girl is walking again, I pick up my 60-pound dog by the stomach and start speed walking back. Probably looked like a total idiot, but I didn't care. Whatever dream state I was in before had been broken by my dog's attitude. Everything inside me was telling me, go home. So I'm halfway across the field when I put my dog's leash on and set her down. She doesn't budge again. I think, are you freaking kidding me? I will drag this dog when I almost threw up as I turn around to see this girl standing on some bleachers, not even 10 feet from me. I can see her face now in the light. I kid you not. This girl was beautiful, but her eyes were blacker than black. They filled all of her eyeballs. It was just two shiny orbs inside of two almond-shaped sockets. She looked completely different from the serious expression I could make out before. I swear I wanted to run, but something made me stay. I felt like I was so scared that I couldn't hear a faint, high-pitched humming in my ears, and my entire body felt heavy. I wanted to run more than anything. I could have thought, oh, a strange chick in a Halloween contacts, but I can't explain this feeling of absolutely paralyzing horror I experienced without any rationalization. I didn't have time to. These feelings hit me like a train, and I hope to God I never feel as helpless and mortified as I did then. She was not human. She was not a regular girl, and to make things worse, this girl says in a sultry, sweet tone that I'd expect to sound like something from beyond the grave, "Does she bite?" And still on defense mode, I think I managed to mutter out my idea of a no. I don't know if anyone else knows what I mean when I say I felt like as soon as I blinked again, she would be standing right in front of me, but she did. As soon as I finished saying no, she waited a couple seconds before saying, "Do you live nearby?" To which I was going to say no, even though I did. But as soon as I went to speak, she said, "Did you drive here?" And I start walking back, trying to distance myself slowly. And again, before I can speak, she says, "I'm going to need to come with you." "You'll let me come with you. That's okay, right?" "It's okay. Don't be afraid." And with that, Dakota books it and started running like a scared child. And my dog is right in front of me. I don't stop till I catch up with my dog, and they're at the other side of the street. And I take this time to turn around and make sure she isn't following me. She's calmly walking back, already all the way to the other side of the park where she was before. I called my roommate to meet me halfway with the car on my way back home, and I have never walked my dog after dark again.
Wow.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
That's all kinds of creepy. Again, I think, I have covered that before, whether it must have been another Thought Catalog article that we had come across, but that's a creepy story. Is it real? Well, I can't validate that it is, but it's not unlike a bunch of other stories that we've heard in terms of this, except it didn't involve a house. So as far as this person knew, this is a lighter skin, not pale, person, the solid black eyes, that feeling of intimidation. So it has all of the hallmarks of a black-eyed kid encounter, except, well, it did ask to go with him. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
In that sultry, sweet voice.
Sultry sweet. Yeah, I don't know. That would be a tough one. Yeesh. Because, you see an attractive woman and you think, well, she must be scared. She must be lonely. Is she okay? Out in the park all by herself in a weird place like that. You'd think that you'd probably want to, help if you needed to, but
Right.
then to have that presence and that horrible feeling, that sinking feeling that's so common in all these black-eyed kid stories.
Mm-hmm.
People see these children, they want to help initially, but then it's replaced by this primal fear, like something inside of them is saying, no, don't. And so I don't know, is that intuition? Is it a sixth sense? Or is it just you're in the presence of something horrible?
Right.
Is it truly being in the presence of evil? And I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know which it is, but that's a heck of a story. Again, I think the black-eyed kids phenomena is probably real based on something. And there could be this could be very well an actual event. It could also be a fabrication, and I couldn't tell you which is the right answer. So I don't know, but it's not so far fetched from other ones that we've read, except that this one is, this person met this being away from their home. Mm-hmm. So many times the hallmark of the black-eyed kids is you're in a car or you're in a home.
And the knock on the door
right.
or the window or whatever that is, yeah.
And they seem to know you're there even when you're sneaking and didn't give any indication you're there. Hey, we need to come and use your phone when you're creeping with absolute ninja stealth. Yeah. And still it's like they can see right through the house, So I don't know. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy world. And full of crazy phenomena, so it could be very legitimate, but I don't know. If you ever see people with solid black eyes, my advice is to run.
It's like that. It's like
get away.
Those pranks, run.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I'm out of here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Call me Audi, AUDI.
Yep.
Because I got my foot on the floor.
Remember that one that you found where that guy had figured out this frequency and played it? And that he did that time lapse photography and that thing just stayed on his
showed
porch.
Up on his porch, yeah.
And
I wish I could find that again.
For like 3 hours.
Yeah.
According to the video, this went on for 3 hours. This thing stood out. It was winter. This thing was just standing on his porch staring.
I have to find it again.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can't look it up on my phone.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to bring that up because that was
a crazy one.
That was a crazy one, and it kind of had a real creepy vibe to it. It's like, oh, why would you call one to your house, though?
Because people are dumb.
I mean, would you want that?
I want to die tonight. Can somebody please bring me a BK?
My life is so meaningless. Can someone just bring me a BAK? No.
I need a hug.
Yeah, that's... Hold me. Yeah, mister, can you let me in? I need a hug. Nope. Don't do it. But yeah, I think that's pretty crazy that guy was conducting those experiments at his home.
Hello.
It's like, really? Did you just fall off the wagon here? What the hell were you thinking?
Here, I'm going to call in a black-eyed kid.
I've isolated the frequency that they come to.
Yeah.
Well, you play it somewhere else, like maybe at a church or something.
There you go, yeah.
Play it at the church, see if they show up.
And then throw the holy water on them as they walk up walk to the door, you throw holy water on them.
Put like a Winchester devil sigil on the floor and trap them, and then you can see what you got. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Craziness, folks. That's all kinds of crazy. But interesting enough. We're down to 8 minutes.
8 minutes in the second half hour, huh?
In the second half hour, yeah.
The end of the first hour is
I'm just wondering what we should get into between. I guess we can.
There's a lot we can get into.
This is a new book that's apparently coming out, ladies and gentlemen. I just found this, but I think it's kind of cool, and it's from CBC.ca, and it's from their news. It's a White Horse resident collected stories of Sasquatch sighting for years. And now he's publishing them. And I think this is brilliant. This is great. I love actual encounter reports. I think those are awesome. It says, most of the people took me to locations where their experience occurred, says Red Grossinger. And he says, for 25 years, only Red Grossinger's closest friends knew about his fascination with Sasquatch. But this fall, the White Horse Man interest in the hairy human-like creature some people believe to be real will be revealed as he prepares to publish a book of Sasquatch stories. Mm-hmm. Grossinger's interest goes back to a fly fishing trip on the Taquini River in 1997, where he said he encountered a tall, two-legged furry figure about 15 meters away. He said the creature seemed to be playing hide-and-seek with him. It would come up for a few seconds and then disappear again. That kept on for a good 10 minutes before he walked away, recalls Grossinger. I mentioned it to one of my friends from Teslin and what that could be, and he said, well, that's the Bushman. That's a Sasquatch. So from that day on, I was hooked. When a person experiences something out of the ordinary, whatever that may be, it is normal reaction for most people to try and find out more about their unusual occurrence. Grossinger says said, and that first encounter with Sasquatch in 1997 did just that. I simply had to find out what it is. Grossinger said that he began to read everything he could on the subject and joined a few clubs in BC and Alberta when he heard others, the tales about Sasquatch. After that, Grossinger said, started interviewing others about their Sasquatch sightings. Most of them took me to the location where their experience occurred, Grossinger said. Grossinger's son would often come along for these trips too, he said. About 5 years ago, he said he began compiling notes on everything he had gathered. One story Grossinger heard was particularly baffling. A man in his 60s told Grossinger that he was driving in Crestview, the Yukon along the Azure Road when he saw a Sasquatch. He noticed something in the ditch on the right-hand side. So he slowed his car down to a crawling speed, Grossinger recounted. Indeed, he noticed there was a Sasquatch walking in the manner that you describe as a man on a mission. That the man was about 8 feet away from the Sasquatch for about 90 meters. The creature did not even pay attention to him. At one point, though, the man told Grossinger that the Sasquatch became somewhat translucent. He could almost see through, but not quite, Grossinger said. And then it became transparent. All he could see was the outline of this creature. And then a few seconds later, nothing. It had disappeared right in front of him, Grossinger said, and he said he's documented 3 other occasions where a Sasquatch disappeared in front of people. The most frequent reports of sightings he's heard about come from the Teslin area. The book, named Nagani, Northern Tales of the Sasquatch, is set to be published in October. That's interesting. Again, it's a troubling detail of some reports.
Right.
But what are people seeing when that happens? And I don't pretend to know. I don't know if they're actually able to command that and just disappear. I don't know. It's so hard.
Definitely crazy. But then again, we were just talking about Ron Moorhead before the show, right? Mm-hmm. And so, he made his statement, and that might fall right in line with that.
It does. And it's curious because, I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess, I don't discount what people say that they've seen. I don't. I really believe them. But it's still one of those things where I would have to see it.
Right.
To really, I don't know, at least try to come to terms with it.
Are you really from Minnesota?
Yeah.
You sure you're not from the Show Me State?
Well, it's north of.
Just slightly.
That's a little south from us, but yeah, it's kind of a Midwest thing. Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think that, I don't know. It's one that's just like the UFO thing. Right. I believe they were out there. I believe they were, but it was one of those things. Still, I had to look. It wasn't just enough to go, well, I believe they're out there, and that's good enough. Right. I really wanted to see one, and once that time happened where I saw the UFO hovering over those trees. And it was just this moment of I don't know how to explain it. It was just like everything just exploded. Just like, this moment of epiphany. It was so incredible. And I'd always believed they were there, but I guess seeing that was when it was like, okay, now I'm in the knower. Now I'm a knower because I've actually witnessed it firsthand. And you hear people say that all the time. Well, I'm not a believer. I'm a knower. But there is a difference because that was the UFO phenomena for me. I was a believer before. I believed it was possible, but I didn't have an experience for myself. Right. And maybe that's what drives a lot of people to go out there and look is they want their experiences and whatever they're researching. So it's tough to grasp. It's tough to put my mind around it. I've talked to people through the years that have seen this happen. But what do you do with that? I mean, I want to know what it looks like. I want to know what sound it made, if any. I want to know, did you go and check the tracks? Did it really just literally there happen?
Oh my goodness.
So
our friend Rachel. If they use infrasound, could they use vibration in the frequency that shifts light waves around their body? Not disappearing, but giving the illusion of disappearing.
Perhaps. Yeah, I mean, there's there's certainly that possibility. I've heard discussions regarding the hair having a prismatic effect,
Right.
that in certain conditions that it does act as, perhaps it changes and becomes an adaptive camouflage of sorts. Just that if you're looking the right way or if they move the right way, that they blend in. I don't know. Again, there's a whole lot of theories, and that's why I think cryptid research is so important, because there's just a basket full of ideas, and they're disparate and range the whole spectrum.
Right.
Of it's just an ape, it's a primate, it's an intelligent person, a different kind of people, it's a hominid, it's extraterrestrial, it's spiritual. So there's this whole spectrum, and that's the big question mark, folks. All right, that's the hour break. So we're going to get right back at it after this. Don't go away.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. With my silence, I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
All right, Alicia, good night. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are into hour number 2 now. Second hour of fun. And Alicia says, send in hugs, off to bed, working 5 hours. Oh, get some rest.
My goodness, yeah.
You've been burning the oil here. So thanks for staying with us for as long as you could. That's awesome. Outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a call here, Don.
Oh, a call.
We have a call. Someone is calling
The
us.
phone lines actually work?
They work. Somebody actually called, Don.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Let's find out
I
who.
love this show.
There you go.
Let's see who's calling us. All right, this is area code 940. You're on the air. Hello?
Hey, Brent, how's it going, man? It's Tex.
Hey, Dex. How you doing, man?
Hey, Dex, how you doing? I'm good, man. I heard y'all mention Dog Man. I thought, well, you know what? I could probably give y'all a little credible Dog Man experience.
Oh, please do. We'd love to hear it.
Please do.
I'm getting feedback on the line. Is the speakers up?
No, I don't have anything on, really.
Okay. Might just be Skype. That's all right. But go ahead, brother. Your voice sounds great.
Is that any better?
Yeah, I think so.
How's that?
That's perfect. That's absolutely brilliant.
Awesome.
There we go. Yeah, if you got a Dogman story, brother, I'd love to hear it.
That was actually the first thing I ever encountered with the Dog Man when I was 16.
Oof. Do tell.
Yeah, it's kind of what got me, started in this whole mess, what we call a community,
Yeah, I hear you.
But, I was, a lot of people know the story, but I was, raised up in the country, and I was always hunting and trapping, from a young age.
Sure.
And I had this favorite place that I like to hunt. And I was coming back home before sundown, and this thing ran across the road in front of me. And it was maybe 20, 30 feet away from me. So, yeah, there ain't no doubt about what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But he was on 2 legs when he came out of the brush on my left side. And ran across the road. And he was about, I don't know, probably a little over 7 feet tall.
Wow.
And black hair, but it had like hints of gray or silver in it. And and it was a he.
Mm-hmm.
He had a massive canine like head. I don't want to say it's hard to say wolf-like head because he didn't have the long, narrow wolf snout.
I was going to ask you. Okay.
It was broad and blunt. And what I thought was a mane at the time, that's the only thing I didn't call it. The hair was real long and going from his head down his shoulders and like almost down a V down his back.
Wow.
And but years later, when I started talking to people, and when I actually found out that there's people out there that actually talk about these things, and I wasn't crazy, come to find out, these things they have a almost a muscled hump like a bramer or something, or a almost buffalo like hump, grizzly like hump.
Right.
Their back in their shoulder blade.
Wow. Okay.
And but yeah, he ran across the road in front of me on 2 legs, and the image that's frozen in my mind is he turned his head and growled at me. And it died. And I know a lot of people talk about and have just a mouthful of these freaking just gnarly looking teeth.
Sure.
But this one it was just like canine teeth.
Okay.
And but what kind of stood out to me was the old wives' tale is if you want a smart dog, what's the one that's got black in his mouth? And this thing had a black mottled mouth and tongue.
Wow.
And it didn't have the, glowing yellow or red eyes, a lot of people talk about.
Okay.
It was just the brown eyes like a, dog. But he dove over the fence. I was fixing to crawl over and go home. And when he dove over the fence, when he hit the ground, he went down on all fours. And it was a real smooth transaction. And I saw the grass that he went into. We call it love grass down here in Texas. And it grows to about 3.5, 4 feet tall.
Okay.
And he went down in that grass, and I saw the grass move for about 10 yards. Gone. But it was kind of a, when you talk about it, it's long drawn out. Seems like a long drawn out process, but it's really just a split second decision. Sure. I ain't following him. I'm going to take the road home.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's definitely a trail you wouldn't want to meet him again.
No. And so I took a long way home, and the whole walk, really the whole trip home, it's probably a mile going the long way. And the whole trip's kind of a blur.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I do remember I had my little foot in, and I had a couple of rabbits myself. The one thing that I remember thinking was I was out of ammo for one. And I remember thinking, well, at least I've got a 3-foot club with me if it makes a go for me. Maybe I'll get a swing at him, but.
Sure.
And I made it home. Made it home with no incident.
Wow.
And I walked in the back door, and my mom had a rule. No guns were allowed in the kitchen.
Okay.
And so I walk in, I just kind of collapse in the kitchen chair, and I laid my gun on the kitchen table. My mom was in the kitchen. She was, I don't know, washing dishes, cooking, whatever. And I think she was going to jump on me about the gun. And turned around, she goes, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're white as a ghost." And as hard as I tried, I couldn't speak.
Oh.
I was in a state of shock.
Yeah.
And my sister lived next door to us, and she went and got my sister, and they came over, and it took them almost an hour to calm me down before I could tell them what had happened.
Okay.
And of course, they were trying to rationalize it,
Oh, sure.
Maybe I saw something, I saw something, but it spooked me, and my imagination took over.
Right.
But as the years went by, I stuck to my guns to what I saw. But this, you hear a lot of people, and I know y'all get a lot of reports. Y'all talk to a lot of people, so do we. That encounter these things, Sasquatch or whatever, and they never want to ride the woods. You get that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this affected me for about 6 months, and I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go down to the bar. If I had to go down to the bar, I would. I mean, but I got to where I felt bullied. I got mad,
Sure.
And I've never been one. I can't tolerate noise. Never have been able to.
Sure.
And but that's how I felt. So after about 6 months of this, I said, you know what? I'm done. Fed up. I'm gonna start doing what I used to do, and I started going back out.
Good for you.
And hey, it took me a while. You know, I didn't just go back into the deep brush like I had been.
Sure.
You know, it was baby steps.
Right.
But a while later, like I finally got back to my routine again. I was going back to that place that I really loved to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
This place was interesting because it was part of an old man's place that he owned. I think it's like 1,200 acres, maybe 16.
Okay.
But he had part of it done in a hayfield part, and the other part of it he had decided was undeveloped. And the brush was so thick that you had to travel the game trail. And I had permission to be on there. I was his kind of eyes and ears in the place he would go. You know, that's how we operate.
Right. Yeah.
And but anyway, I was going over there. There was a tree that had fell over the sidewalk fence, and I was just going to run up the tree and jump over. And I heard something walking. What I thought was somebody walking in the tree. And there was a set of twins that lived on the other side of the place, and they hunted the place. I knew them very well. And I hollered out, and then that one of y'all, and it stopped. And I said, hey, if that's one of y'all, let me know. And it just kind of shifted its weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, if that's one of y'all, tell me, I want to shoot. And it just shifted its weight. So I popped the round off up in the air. And that's when all hell broke loose.
Oh,
this thing comes into the tree. I got to tell you, I'm not too proud to admit it. I took my tail, turned around, and I ran the whole way back to the house. This thing was going to grab me. I didn't want to know it.
Wow.
You know, both experiences were, don't get me wrong, they were underway changing moments.
Sure.
But years later, after talking to some people, sharing my encounter, and, you know, talking to people that had been in this for a while. And I was green, had just gotten into it, started sharing my story, my encounter. And they started asking me stuff that had, you know, is there anything that stood out to me that had on an area over the years? And I'm like, what? Well, you know, anything odd or anything missing or anything like that. And about a year before I had the sighting, we had a dog, and we found him because he started sinking, and he was underneath the house. Well, you know,
sure.
Daddy's not the crawling in. Daddy's not the crawling in, so it's up to me. So I crawl in the house, and I get the dog, and I pull him out. And this thing, this poor dog, when he was one of the dogs, so ugly. I never will be his name was Hermie. And he looked like somebody had held him up by the front leg. Just dead. And so they said, well, these things have a tendency to kill dogs and throw them up under a structure if they can.
Oh. Wow.
But
okay.
Yeah. But you know, we would hear, you know, people talk the ranches that were surrounded us and things like that. We would hear about, you know, some, you know, a mare would foal and, you know, the foal would go missing and there'd be a bunch of blood.
Oh, geez.
She'd get tore up and, you know, that type of thing. Calf would go missing. Horse would get tore up, something like that. And they always blamed it on either a pack of wild dogs. We were always here about, you know, well, that pack of wild dogs is in the area again, so y'all got to watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, somebody saw a big cat or something like that.
Wow.
And but then And after I had the second count, it didn't take long the first time I started going back out. Because the way I looked at it was this thing had two chances to kill me if it had done it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I had to get it through my head that it's like these other big predators that might be out. That you can't consider yourself on top of the food chain.
No.
But anyway, I started going back, and there was a place adjacent to the place I hunted, and they had a bunch of horses they kept, and they didn't live on the place; they just took the horses. And one day they just packed up the horses and left.
Really? Wow.
And yeah, so being 16, 17-year-old kid, I go rummaging around the place. I found an almost fully intact horse skeleton. And what was weird about it, I didn't think nothing about it at the time, but looking back on it, it wasn't scattered like, predators will come along and scatter a carcass. It wasn't like that. And at the time, I just thought it was cool to bring a horse skull home to mom for a rock. But like I said, talking to people and researching everything years later, I was told that this was probably a kill site, and that's probably why they moved the horses they took and moved away.
Sure.
And that's also why, other varmints and predators didn't touch the carcass. So,
because it was, yeah. Those have got to be the alpha predators for sure, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And of course, during the day, actively researching and solo stuff down in Brown Springs.
Now, when you saw it, did it have the backward knees, the digigrade or plantigrade knees, like backward knees?
No, it did not. That's one thing that was strange. And it had the human-like arms and hands. It had the human-like legs. Now, it was up on its toes, and it had like really long feet, but I don't think it had true hocks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I do remember, and I can sit down and draw a picture of this thing. I have.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I went on and with with Larry Batson does drawing Bigfoot. I went on there with him. I was the only dog man that he's done. And
sure.
But he was close. He's good at what he does. But I think if we took a second stab at it, he could do a better job.
Sure.
But I remember his ears being pinned back, like when a dog or a horse gets upset, they'll pin their ears back.
Right.
But the only thing, of course, I think a lot of people, or most people, when they have, an encounter with something that, number one, it's not supposed to be out there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people look at Hollywood and they go, they try to find something that looks like it, or looks like whatever they saw. And the closest thing that I've ever seen produced that looked like what I saw was the American Werewolf in London.
Okay. Yeah, that comes up a lot. A lot of people say that, or I've heard claims that the underworld werewolves apparently really resemble a lot of people's dogman encounters as well.
Yeah, I get a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And talking to people like that Cundiff and stuff like that.
Sure.
There's so many types, and I've got a theory on that. After researching this over years,
mm-hmm.
that I think back in the day, back when like the Egyptians and Anubis, I mean, there were armies of things, supposedly, and they were super intelligent. But I'm thinking possibly that the Great Flood almost wiped them out, and to make this the species survive, they started breeding with the other canine.
Okay.
And that's why we're seeing so many different looks.
Right.
And it may be an answer for that are not as intelligent as they used to be. They're very intelligent creatures, don't get me wrong. You know, just like Sasquatch, they're very intelligent creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they've lost just trying to, you know, repopulate the species.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think they breed like canines.
Okay.
If they did, they'd be overrun with it.
Yeah, there'd be litters of them everywhere. Yeah.
Literally litters.
Now, when you saw the head, would you say in your experience, the sighting that you had, was the head like almost too big for its body, or did it look proportioned?
It was. I mean, don't get me wrong; it was huge.
Okay.
But compared to the body, I don't think it was. I don't really think it was that out of proportion.
Okay.
You know, I think a lot of that you hear is the main part that I was talking about.
Sure.
The hump. I think that just makes it look
Okay.
bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, that's really
I don't think it's out of proportion to big.
That's such an incredible experience, and to know that it was probably very aware of you every time you were out there. It just decided one day, I'm going to let him see now or something, you know, like it seems very strategic what it did. It was very strategic, and it wasn't just a random thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this thing had chosen to let me see it, or if I had interrupted a nap, or if he was chasing something. I don't know.
Oh, sure.
But he was running full bore when he ran across the road in front of us.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like he was well aware that you were there, because it looked at you and growled. So I mean, he was like, "Yeah, screw you," and then he kept going. But and that to me denotes an intelligence. Like, it's not just a feral response. It looked over to let you know, yeah, I see you, and kind of scoffed at you with the growl, like, don't mess with me, and then kept going, you know?
Well, and that's the exact feeling that I got. A lot of people talk about, you know, you get that feeling of dread. They even call it dogman sick. Okay. And I didn't get that. I got exactly what you said. Look, back off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You stay up there, and I'll go about my business, and we won't have a problem. But do not.
Yeah.
Don't bug me. Just, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, and then you'll live another day. You know.
Yeah, I think that you made the right choice walking the road home.
Yeah, I do think that having that experience early on and being one of the lucky ones. I'm not saying you know, there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and don't get me wrong, I've been accused of crossing it more than once.
Sure.
And, but I do think that I was one of the lucky ones that was able to get back to what I was doing.
Yes.
And not let, you know, traumatize me for the rest of my life. I don't know why I was able to do that, you know. I credit a lot of it with the man upstairs.
Yeah.
But I think that's having that experience early on and being able to deal with it the way I did has let me do what I do now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I think it's amazing that you got back out there and you kind of reclaimed your life, because you're right. I mean, I hear those stories all the time. People are like, nope, I hung it up. I don't go outside anymore. And it's a tragedy. Yeah. Because I think you're right. It at any point, it could have killed you probably hundreds of times, but it chose not to. Right. So obviously you were not its prey. You know?
Were its toy.
Yeah.
Squeaky, squeaky.
I don't think these things want to, because I mean, honestly, if you look at, you can, if you want to, you can put a tab of supernatural on these creatures, sure. You know, and that's fine. But even what we call natural predators, the apex predators in the natural world, they will avoid a fight if at all possible, sure. Even with each other. Mm-hmm. You know, because even the slightest wound out there can be deadly.
Sure. Yeah.
To them. And it's energy they don't have to put out. That's why you have bluff charges.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But brother, we're about at the next break. I just want to thank you so much for calling in. It's great talking to you, and you and I should talk and get something figured out here to get you on the show.
Yep.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, Tex. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tex of Paracryptid Trinity. Am I saying this right?
Yes.
Paracryptid Trinity Research. They got a channel on YouTube, great channel, and we'll get Tex on the show and do this right. So we're going to go to our break, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again, Tex, for calling in, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Easy to sit on the edge of your bed and to think, there are things I'm doing, there are things I'm not doing, that I should be doing, that I could and would do. Small things. But you can start to improve your life incrementally by eliminating.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the last segment of our show tonight. This is the last half hour of 2 hours. So we cooked through the night. Special thanks again to Tex for calling in. That was a lot of fun. It's fantastic. The thing is I knew you had a Dogman experience.
Right.
I've heard it mentioned, but honest to God, I'd never heard the details until tonight. So thank you so much for sharing that. That is fascinating. And I got about 1,000 other questions to ask you about it because, I mean, when you hear a story like that, an experience, my mind just starts churning and I'm thinking, what about this? What about this? What about this? What did you see here? But we'll just have to get Tex on the show to do it right.
And you guys were talking about, like basically suffering PTSD after those and how he got back up and out there and doing it again, and we've heard so many stories, with Bigfoot and when we talked to Vic Cundiff about Dogman, about, people suffering from that PTSD, and
absolutely.
They just shut down their lives,
Yeah, I think it's very powerful that you got back in there and did it right, Tex. Good for you. So many people surrender their lives after an experience like that. It's like, nope, I'm good. What's on TV?
Right. Well, that's like I had a friend who was in a really bad car accident way back when she was like 15 or 16, and she never got her driver's license. She didn't get her driver's license until she was like 35.
Wow.
Because she was so scared of driving a car.
Sure.
It's the same thing. You just can't sit and wait for, need. You got to do it now. So hats off to you, big guy.
Absolutely. Great story. Great experience. And to have it twice. Ooh, I might just change to the meat section at the supermarket after that. Nope. I can go bag my limit over at the grocery store.
There you go.
I don't know. But no, it's fantastic. Very cool. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, check out Trinity Paracryptid Research on YouTube. And you will find a lot more of Tex in his show with Rob as well. He does a show with Rob, and Tex has been a big part of the community for a long time. He's got a lot of great experiences and is an active researcher himself. So great stuff. I think he's from down south. They got a lot of nice weather down there.
They do.
A lot more than us up here. Yep. All right.
Gigi says, I don't want to get my driver's license either because I want people to drive me.
That'll be the next movie, Driving Miss Gigi.
Driving Miss Gigi. Crazy.
Driving Miss Cray Cray.
Miss Cray Cray.
No, we love you, of course. All right, let's get into the last segment of our show.
Sweet.
And this is actually, this one is kind of new territory for the portal, just in that we don't usually cover topics like this, but I came across this article.
That says like, original prototype. Can you see that?
It says FX1. It says OTC-X1 prototype.
The X1, right. The X1.
Yep,
that's right.
So this is an article from Curiosmos.com, and it has to do with unwritten mystery. It's an unwritten mystery, but it's kind of written about quite a bit, actually. And this article is advanced anti-gravity technology being suppressed? Now, this is written by Vladislav Chekharov, and this is the thing is Stephen Greer, of course, talks a lot about the other part of his endeavors is to talk about suppressed technologies,
right?
And that are perhaps learned from reverse engineering, UFOs, recovered craft or whatever. And so one of which would be anti-gravity and the other is free energy. Mm-hmm. And both of those he talks about pretty thoroughly. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
But it's certainly something that's come up in several of his documentaries on the subject is what have we learned, or what has been learned from potentially recovered craft and reverse engineering those recovered craft, and what don't we have access to? Well, of course, free energy would be an absolute revolution for mankind, or human beings. I don't want to say mankind, it sounds sexist, but you know what I'm saying, for human beings, because we, of course, if everybody had lights, electricity, energy, they could probably level the playing field for the entire globe.
Right, because my power bill would be non-existent.
Well, that would be something, but I'm just talking about like, of course there's countries and societies that don't live on the hub of all the technology like we do in the U.S. and so many other countries that are, so developed. And then there's other countries where, a little breeze can knock out your power for days, and so what if people could generate their own?
Right.
And so this is, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it doesn't pay.
Exactly. It doesn't. So here is an article talking about advanced anti-gravity technology. And this is something that I think Stephen Greer states was figured out in the 50s and yet still is not a part of our modern era yet. And for any number of reasons, I guess, because if we were able to float stuff, we wouldn't have to maintain miles and miles of road and, all that. Don, you wouldn't even have to shovel.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, just
a landing pad.
Hey,
that's it.
I was waiting for the prophecies of the Jetsons to come true.
I know, right?
That's all I can say.
All right. Well, let's read the article here. And again, this is from curiosmos.com. And that goes on to say, who is the man sentenced to 14 years in prison for building anti-gravity flying saucers? What happened to this man? And is his story not a complete fabrication of the Secret Services? Let's see what it says. Anti-gravity technology has been known for decades to those who know where to look for the right information. All data is top secret, and only selected ones can touch it. One of the pioneering researchers of anti-gravity, and the name we will discuss today, is Otis Carr, C-A-R-R. So what do we know about the advanced anti-gravity technology and how the government suppressed it? There we go. Black budget, big header, of course. It turns out that this anti-gravity technology is far from a conspiracy. On the contrary, there is strong evidence for it, but when we talk about the subject, it is mandatory to understand the world of secret services. In a recent study by Michigan State University, the team found that nearly $21 trillion was missing and unreported by the Department of Defense and the Department of Housing and Urban Development in the United States. 21 trillion.
Wow.
Just gone. Why is this important? The money is said to be used for unregistered programs over which Congress has no control. With the help of the black budget, an invisible civilization with unlimited resources is being built. It is far more technologically advanced than the world we know. Any civilian who invents competitive technology in the world of the black budget is always tracked down and finds it difficult to disseminate his invention. If it reaches society, it will threaten the control and power of the world's elite over the population. Again, this is the article. This is not necessarily the position of the Paranormal Portal, but I'm reading it because I'm interested in anti-gravity technology. It says the advanced anti-gravity technology that was suppressed. Anti-gravity technology definitely falls into this category of inventions that could threaten the control of the elite. Many experts and people in top positions, military organizations, and participants in secret programs have spoken on topics that they have witnessed. Some of them are the various directors of the space technology and defense company Lockheed Martin. One of them is Steve Justice. The man's name is Justice. He sounds like a superhero. I'm sorry. That's a great superhero name. What's your name? Steve Justice. You just give up when the guy says that's his name. Okay, whatever you want.
Just take me to jail.
Just go ahead. Put me in jail. He openly spoke about technologies he has seen and worked with. According to him, they are generations ahead of those with whom we are familiar today. Intensive work is also being done on UFO-like aircraft. According to Justice, I love that name. That's so cool. They mimic the possibilities seen in unidentified flying phenomena through a system of motion that changes space-time. Otis Carr, one of the proteges of Nikola Tesla, was one of the pioneers in the construction of extremely innovative technologies for his time, resembling flying saucers, and he even gave public demonstrations sponsored by people who gave millions for his work. Ask yourself, would such influential people trust him if he did not achieve results? His goal was to make a successful flight to the moon on December 7th, 1959, with the flying saucer he built. According to the Center of UFO Studies, Carr's spaceship was powered by an artificial gravitational field called the Corrado gravity motor, and did not use fuel. The energy was obtained from the sun through the power of magnetism. Sorry. The technology that is used is called the Ultron Electric Accumulator.
Does he have the Mind Stone?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
But he's definitely got the BS stone. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm not judging that. I'm just kidding. But 2 weeks after the last test flight, his program was closed. Federal agents confiscated the equipment and documentation. According to them, Carr's project would collapse the U.S. monetary system.
No, it would.
He was later charged with fraud and theft of $50,000, absolutely robbed. He was unable to pay his bail. A 14-year sentence followed. After his release from prison, he disappeared from the radar, and almost nothing is known about this period in his life. He lived peacefully until the end of his days, and his anti-gravity technology was never released to the public ever again. Wow. So is there actual functioning and working anti-gravity? Well, there's people out there that believe there is. Was it being suppressed? Well, it doesn't surprise me. Of course, we've heard, I think everybody, if you've looked into something like fuel efficiencies and stuff, I think in the 1950s, an engine was created by a gentleman who wanted to make gas last a lot longer. So he developed a combustion engine that would, 1 gallon of fuel would go 100 plus miles.
Right.
And apparently, and this is no joke, as far as I understand it, I believe it's a statement of fact that he developed this, and suddenly the oil companies just wanted to get involved. They wanted to see this miracle engine, and so he would demonstrate it and showed it, and was able to prove that it indeed went 100 miles plus on a gallon of fuel. After which, the Shell Corporation apparently gave this man millions and buried it. They bought the patents
Right.
and buried it, absolutely buried it. So it could never see the light of day, because why would they want to do that? Well, it's a consumable. Gasoline and fuel is a consumable. And how much would they lose over their possible profits if suddenly every car got 100 plus miles per gallon? Well, probably a lot. So there is motivators. Of course, Nikola Tesla wanted free energy to happen, but he was absolutely brutalized by several people in his day that didn't want him to create that possibility, because they got paid to put the power lines up. They got paid to take care of them. They got paid to sell people electricity. And so his work was just shuttered.
Right.
And it's such a sad thing, because a guy like Nikola Tesla, who was this brilliant light in the dimness of our existence, could have brought about entire change to our entire global neighborhood, and yet it was a few people that decided that what he was doing was an absolute threat to their monopolies, and so he was badgered and apparently died pretty much alone and penniless at the end of his days. And then his apartment was raided by the FBI, and suddenly all his notes were gone. So it's such a tragic thing, because what could that man have done if he had the full support and backing of an official body that would say, make our world better? How far could we have gone just in his lifetime? And what could he have shared with our other academics and thinkers to cause them to create new and amazing inventions? And it's just so tragic, so completely tragic. So I only shudder to think, but at least he changed the world quite a bit with what he was able to do.
Right.
So anyway, what do you think, Don? Is there suppressed technologies?
Yeah. And then you got dumb people making agreements with other dumb people.
Yeah.
The military anti-intelligence and doing dumb things. And yeah, we've got suppressed technology. It's pretty simple to figure out. I mean, and it's been said a million times, where would we have been had we not had these things that supposedly happened, Roswell and all these other things, where would fiber optics be? Where would Velcro be, for that matter?
Yeah.
You know, all these things that just catapulted us into the 21st century. You know, the computers, the microchips, just all of this.
Yeah.
Is supposedly came from reverse technology.
It's magic, Don.
Oh, it's magic.
Yeah, it's very tragic. I don't know. It makes you wonder where could we be if all of these great thinkers were given free reign to improve the world around us.
Speaking of great thinkers, Rachel says Uri Geller would use the Infinity Gauntlets to bend half the spoons in the universe. Everything must be in bentness.
Yeah, tell you what, I have another article on Uri Geller in the pile, but I opted not to read it tonight because I don't even want to give this guy more press. On our little show, I was like, Uri Geller is an idiot. This guy is trying so hard to remain relevant, and it's just like, God, just go away now. Your spoon bending days are over.
Right.
And don't get me wrong.
Quit bending the spoons. Use them to eat a cheeseburger, you freak.
A spoon for a cheeseburger.
Why not?
I'm sure he could do it. I'm sure he could.
Cheeseburger cheese.
I mean, when he's not bending spoons, he's moving ships out of the canals that are sideways.
He's moving other ships into it.
Yep. And he's just an asset. And he says apparently
Did you say asshat?
Well, depends. It's all in the pronunciation.
That's what I said.
Yep.
ASSET.
Yep, that's what I said. Asset. Asset. It could be, but anyway, I don't know. But I like these discussions because I think we are, okay, so the combustion engines have been around for what, over 100 years, 150 years. Yeah. And they don't change a lot. You look at, like Kev Baker used to say, you look at computers. Mm-hmm. And you think about the fact that they used to take up entire buildings, and they take up an entire floor. And then now one fits in your hand that's more powerful than any previous generations times 10. And so we got these phones that are in touch with the entire population of the world to a degree, and to information and knowledge and the ability to communicate. And it's gone so far from the vacuum tubes in a whole building to this and smaller. And then you look at so many other things, like the one thing that hasn't changed much is space travel. We're still creating these rockets and strapping people to them with duct tape and lobbing them out into space. And it's like, why? Why are we still using Wernher von Braun's designs? Why haven't we done any better?
Money.
Well, there it is.
There's no money in it.
So there must be other ways. So if you had anti-gravity, you could put things into orbit very, very easily, very efficiently. It would be like running to the store to get milk.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to put a satellite up there. I'll be right back, honey. I'll grab some milk on the way back.
Leroy, get your jetpack.
Yeah. It would be the same as like UPS. NASA could deliver satellites by UPS. Just like, would you lob this up into space for us? It would just, that could be our lives. But instead, we're still strapping to people, to rockets. It's like,
really?
really?
Wile E. Coyote.
I know. It's like the Acme Science Fair or something. Right next to the anvils is the rockets, I don't know. It's tragic. We should be further than this.
Right.
But I think, maybe we'll get there. Maybe enough people are waking up to the broken in this world, and we're like, no, you know what? We need to progress. Progress. As what was his name? Oh my God, I can't think of it. The computer, or comedian. I can't remember it.
Okay.
He used to smash watermelons.
Oh, Gallagher.
He used to say, if
that's right.
Con is the opposite of pro, then isn't Congress the opposite of progress?
Right. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
I remember watching his HBO specials.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome.
The Sledge-O-Matic 5000.
Right.
There you go. Anyhow,
We're down to 5 minutes now.
5 minutes.
How did that happen?
We talk a lot.
We did talk a lot. We hope you like it talk though, and if you're already not subscribed, please get subscribed because we'd like to have you stick around and be a part of what we're doing. And you can do that by hitting, if you're on YouTube, you can look at that. If there's a red subscribe button sitting there, just click it and then click the bell next to it and get all notifications. And you will know exactly when we're going live if you don't already know. But if you don't know and you're not sure about the whole subscription thing, we do these shows live on YouTube Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights.
And just all you need to do is subscribe and it'll let you know when we go live.
Yes. Well, if you hit the notifications.
Yeah, that's not where you were going, were you? Well, I was.
No, I was just telling you what days that we are here in case you're not quite ready to sign up for the
But it's
for
easier
the program.
just to hit the subscribe button and
yeah, you
know
could
when
just
the
do
program's
it.
on.
And then if you
It's
change
just-
your mind
it's
later, you can, you know.
You can't go in. You know, I saw this show with these two fat guys on it.
There's these two idiots on there.
And I can't believe they even gave them microphones. They live somewhere like up in like North Idaho and potato country.
Yeah.
And they were kind of funny, but I was wondering what channel was that? Just hit the subscription button.
Yeah, hit the subscribe. You won't even have to remember after
Anyway,
that.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
look at your subscriptions.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
we'll be there.
Yes.
But that's an opportunity. And also there's another opportunity to catch up with what we're doing is if you look for our podcast. Our podcast is released on all the major platforms, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, CastBox, and a bunch more. And just look for Paranormal Portal. Wherever you find it. And actually, Wes just, he sent me his newest podcast opener.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hilarious. If you get a chance, listen to Sasquatch Chronicles.
Yep.
The newest episode. It's got a brilliant opener on it. It's so funny. So, you'll want to check it out, folks. You'll want to.
Yup.
Yup. And if you want to continue to support the program, you can head over to Teespring.
Yes, definitely do that.
Go to teespring.com, and I'll put it up on screen for you. teespring.com/paranormal-portal.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's good enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, here's Teespring, folks.
Teespring.
This is another way you can help support what we're doing. And that's always on option. There's lots of gear. That's Don's design, the rocker design. I wish it didn't change when I move my. It's like whoop, peekaboo, peekaboo.
Yeah. But that's why I flip some of them forwards. Some of them are showing the back, and some of them are showing the front.
Yep.
So.
There's a few options there, and there will be more coming up because.
As a matter of fact, Maggie M10 has a banner T-shirt.
She just got the banner T-shirt. Yeah, Maggie sent us a picture. Thank you for that, Maggie. That was awesome. It's good to see you guys too, and so if you get some of our gear. And you wouldn't mind, please take a picture of yourself and send it to me in the email. I'm not going to, post your face all over the place, unless I have your permission. But I generally just think it's cool to see people wearing the stuff. So if you go over to Teespring and you hit the Paranormal Portal Teespring shop and get something and take a picture. Ruger and the other gentleman that won the mug, those things are on order.
Yep.
They'll be coming, and then I will get them to you. We haven't forgotten.
Coming around the mountain.
So when they come, they will be coming. If they come here, they're coming around the mountains.
Yeah, that's true.
That's for sure. So again, I go through a few mountains to get here, but other than that, I guess Sheldon and I will be back tomorrow night.
There you go.
Because you're a busy man, Don.
Well, yeah. I have to come up with money to buy a new freaking laptop.
I know, right?
Jeez, it just died. It was like, bloop.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me?
Just start a GoFundMe for your laptop.
No doubt.
Dodge laptop GoFundMe.
Yeah.
No. But anyway, folks, we're down to about 2 minutes. I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
Gigi, what are you talking about? What?
Oh.
Breaking news? What? Never mind. I told you. See, I told you actually a couple weeks ago. I said I have to start an OnlyFans to pay my plow guy.
Yep.
I should do that. I should add that into there. I started an OnlyFans for a new laptop.
You should do it in reverse, like they got to pay you to get dressed.
Wow, yeah, I'd make a lot of money, wouldn't I? Look, it's Dawn in a banana hammock. Put those clothes back on.
Start out almost like with a
$50
Speedo
for a pair of underwear. Yes.
Get some sweatpants, Scott. Here's 100. I'm just saying it might be a good approach for us.
Oh my, yeah.
We'll do the reverse OnlyFans. We'll start out in Speedos, and you got to pay us to put stuff on.
That's a $40 a sock, please.
Yeah, we'll have
the beanie always goes on the head, except for another $50.
Yeah. Or else we could do it in like selling squares of fabric.
And we slowly make them. And we give the more we make, the faster we make our own clothes.
Yeah, there you go. It could happen. It could be a brilliant and brilliant opportunity. Anyway, we're always trying to be innovative here on the portal and keep it fresh. There is a donate text on the YouTube page on your screen if you're so inclined. But that's it for us, folks.
I guess we'll hang it up tonight.
That's it. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody.